nothing. But a lot of times we want to pride ourselves in the ability to share as much as we can with you, because here's the truth. This is not a big show. It's a very small show. And yes, we do run across a lot of different platforms, but because we're on at any time, usually without any announcements, a lot of times people actually catch us on the replay. But one thing after another, and from one person after another, we always hear about the positive results and feelings and emotions they might get as a result of watching some of our live shows. Now, it's not every day that we talk about, internet marketing or online business. Sometimes we talk about motivation. Sometimes we talk about things that might be inspiring to you. Sometimes we just share. But here is the truth. As much as we want to motivate, and as much as we want to be a part of your motivational journey, a lot of times, and it happens to the best of us as well, we also lose motivation. So what do we do if you do lose motivation? What do you do if you are the motivator and you also lose motivation? What is it that we can do on a day-to-day basis? Because there are, again, so many things, so many factors that we simply cannot control. For the last few days, we've been talking about and experiencing a lot of, just say, technical difficulties. We cannot control it. In fact, I don't even see the technical difficulties until after the show is over and I'm actually watching the replay and I notice, oh, my voice and my mouth are out of sync. Oh, I'm lagging more than usual. Oh, I'm kind of on a delay, or maybe I'm just moving in slow motion, or maybe I freeze up, or maybe the voice is gone, there's no sound. Any amount of things can potentially happen. And so after all these things, and you put on, a session, and then you share as much as you can, and then you realize that a lot of it is actually unwatchable. Sometimes you don't even want to watch yourself. If you don't want to watch yourself, how can other people even want to watch you? So it's very easy. And again, it happens to the best of us. A lot of times, motivation can be lost. So what do we do when that happens? So we're going to talk about some of that today. But if you're here, you're joining us maybe for the first time, or maybe you are rejoining us, please do me a favor, comment where you're from and the time where you're at that you're watching this. Today, we're on a little bit later than normal again, but again, simply because we're on at any time, it gives me the flexibility to just, go on whenever I want. But of course, if you're watching us, you enjoy maybe this type of content, you like the idea of maybe being able to share your ideas with each other, be a part of the community, I encourage that you subscribe over here, like over here, and follow over here with those notifications turned on, if possible, because then your platform will be able to notify you whenever we do go live. All right. And so I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I just kind of ramble on. And sometimes I can't even get a few words out of my mouth. But that's just the way that life is. Sometimes you need to motivate yourself. Sometimes if you don't feel like doing anything, you need to be the motivator to push yourself through wherever it is that you are at, whatever it is that you might be doing. And that is how we're going to get through this. So going back to the topic of today, what if you lose motivation? For all of us, we have many different things that we need to be doing on our day-to-day lives. Maybe we are working. Maybe we have a business to run. Maybe we have teams to lead. Maybe we have people that we're responsible for taking care of, whether personally or professionally. And speaking of personal, there's a lot of things that may happen in your personal life as well. The truth is, all of us, we put in a lot. Others may not see it. Others may not be able to understand or comprehend, but we know that whenever we are responsible for something and we make the commitment to do something, we put in a lot. And again, whether it's in work, whether it's in business, whether it's in your personal life, a lot of times we feel like we put in so much, but yet we have nothing to show for it. yet you don't get the results that you want. There are a lot of times where you might not even feel like you are appreciated at all. And so when all of these things happen, again, it's very easy for us to lose motivation. And we ask ourselves, why are we doing this in the first place? It can be very tiring. It can be very exhausting. Let me know if you've been there. Let me know if you're there right now, especially in this year, especially with all the things that's been happening. I believe that all of us, we feel that need for validation so much more, at least not to others. Maybe some people want to be appreciated and cared for and be grateful by others. But at the end, I believe that it is the most important for yourself to make sure that you know that whatever it is that you are doing, that you feel like it is all worthwhile. So with all of that, I believe there is quite a bit that we can be talking about, but I don't want to keep this for too long. Let's just go ahead and make it an open discussion if you want. If not, I'll just make it a normal monologue as I normally do. Excuse me, but let's go ahead and talk about what we can do. Going into some of your comments first, let's go ahead and first say hi to a few of you who have joined us. We have Minutes Facts from YouTube who is joining us and saying hi and hello. Anthony, thank you for coming back. Perth 4:14 p.m. Nice to meet as well. We got Christine joining us from Missouri, USA at 2:15 a.m. It is quite late for you, Christine. Hope that you will get yourself some rest very soon. We have Shu Hui. I am working out. We'll watch the rerun. Thank you very much for saying hi. We look forward to your comments on the replay when you watch it. We got Gold Stew coming to us from YouTube with a question mark. Well, hello to you as well. If you have something to say, please go ahead and share it. If you have a question, please go ahead and ask it. I believe a question mark is not really any kind of response, but whatever the case, hope you're having a great life. Nicholas is saying, hey, Simon, in case StreamYard is not working, it's Nicholas. This is actually on Restream, Nicholas, so we're able to see you just fine whenever I'm on with this particular system. And usually it's the one that says simonleung.com at the top and live show right here at the bottom. Usually that's the one that I'm using to run my own stream that is coming on across my own platforms. So you come on just fine whenever we are here. Gavin is saying, amen, brother. Good to see you, Mr. Gavin. Nice to see you join us here again. We got Financial Education saying hi from Ethiopia at 11:18 p.m. It looks like it might actually be a pretty good time for you to join because 11:18 a.m. is right there in the afternoon. So if we're on around this time, it's great to see you live as opposed to, on the replays and seeing your comments after we go off the air. There you go. Ghost Stew is saying hi. This is much better than a question mark. Thank you very much. Carol joined us from Spain. Buenos dias. Good to see you. And then Ghost Stew is saying, I type a question mark when I don't know what's happening. Well, usually when you type a question mark, other people don't know what you're saying and they don't know what's happening either. So probably better to just say what's up, what's happening, ask questions in real words, because that's how human beings usually communicate. Thank you very much, Ghost Stew, for joining us. And thank you for typing real words so that we know what is on your mind. Now, today, if you are joining us, we are basically talking about what if you lose your motivation in what you do. And a lot of times, it is quite common. For example, there will be many situations where you put in a lot of hard work. Maybe you have the right intentions, but people don't see it. And so you lose motivation. And in reality, staying motivated is not easy. There are a lot of hardships. There are a lot of obstacles. There are a lot of things that are standing in your way. That's why so many times in these live streams, on these live shows, we talked about how it's so important for you to understand what those challenges are and having the determination to actually fight through it and also overcome it. But we all know that It's not easy. Let's go through some examples. Let's say that you are at work. Let's say that it's in your job, a company that you might be working for. You, of course, as an employee, would always have the best intentions to provide value. Maybe you might be an employee, maybe you're a contractor, maybe you're a freelancer, but if you're representing a company, you want to help the company. You know that you are responsible and part of your job, and that's why you're getting paid or you're getting some type of contractor fee, is because you want to help the company make more money. You want to help the reputation of the company. You want to make sure that the company just does really well. Maybe you want to work with people. Maybe you want to help the people who are involved, whether it's fellow colleagues or maybe it's members, maybe it's students, maybe it's clients or customers. A lot of times you always have the best intentions in mind. And it's not uncommon, especially when you're working with or for a company, that you put in just a ton of work. You put in a ton of hours. A lot of times you're making less than what you feel you're worth. A lot of times you might not be reaching what your goals might be. You might not be reaching what you feel are your full potential. But at the same time, what you notice over time is that every once in a while, you get the feeling that maybe you're not appreciated. Maybe the work, the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in isn't really getting reciprocated. It's not being recognized. It's not being acknowledged. Now, for somebody like me, I don't really go after recognition. But to some people, it's very important. However, it's one thing if you don't get recognized or acknowledged. It might be another thing if people don't appreciate you. And I've worked multiple jobs in my life. I haven't had a full-time corporate job ever since 2006 when I quit Google and resigned from there. But at the same time, you will still have those memories, and maybe you have different clients, or maybe you're a part of different companies and you still get different types of experiences. For example, you do a whole bunch and people don't really see or realize it. For some people, that's okay. But what if everything that you put in, the thing is, people start to complain because you're putting in and you're going above and beyond, but for whatever reason, they start to have in demand type of attitude, right? Maybe they feel like it's almost as if it's expected that you do something, or maybe there's an expectation that they have on you, or maybe you have different views on different things and your intentions were seen differently or perceived differently. And for whatever reason, people look down on it. People want to complain. People want to say things about it, even if they fully don't understand what's going on. In fact, there would be many different situations where it would be a huge misunderstanding. People, and by that I mean, it's people who complain about you, and at the same time, those are the people, the very same people whom you are trying to help, right? These are the same people that you're trying to actually help and assist and make successful, and yet these are the same people who don't understand you, who complain about you, and in the end, just kind of show that you're not really appreciated. There might be situations where people who might be in higher positions than you, that maybe have a say over your employment status, your contract status, or whatever type of position that you might be in. Maybe they are at a boss level, and for whatever reason, they don't have the right terminologies, the right vocabulary, and they don't usually say things in the most nice way. There are threats that you aren't doing well. There are threats of, wanting to fire you. There are threats of making sure that you do everything correctly. Otherwise, the next time it happens, you're not going to be around anymore. That kind of talk usually is not an environment that we usually like to be in, especially if you're watching this. Maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur. Maybe you're already in business. Maybe you are already somebody who is your own boss, and you don't like to be told what to do. You don't like to be talked down upon. You don't like to have people talk to you that way. Well, guess what? It does happen. And in the world of business, in the world of even entrepreneurship or employment, There are different elements of ego. There are elements of I am better than you, I'm in a higher position than you, and there will be times when people say things inappropriately. And what do you do if you happen to be at the receiving end of this? I will tell you, I'm not always the best in sharing and practicing what I preach. Of course, when it comes to marketing and business and strategies, I implement everything that I teach. But when I'm talking about different things like having a good positive attitude, we all know that it's not possible to always have a positive attitude. When we say being motivated, we know that it's not always possible to remain motivated. These are human emotions and human things that we need to actually adapt to from time to time. And so when I say yes, there are certain bosses who might not know what to say to their people. I'm also guilty of this because I have businesses that I run, I have people that I hire, and when I take a step back and I realize some of the things sometimes that I say to my partner, some of the things that I say to my employees, some of the things that I say to my contractors, sometimes I do wish that I can take back words. Sometimes I do wish that I can handle things differently or that I had handled things differently. Because what you don't realize is that the words that you say do have impact on people. And if they don't feel appreciated, if they feel like whatever they do is not being acknowledged and recognized, well, this could be more important to some people than others as well. So it's one thing that we need to realize and understand on both spectrums. Now, of course, in addition to work, there's also things on the business side. I've been noticing that we have some comments coming in. So before we move on onto the business side, let's go ahead and say hi to some of you so that you know that you are being acknowledged and you are being recognized. Again, we want to always practice what we preach as much as possible. And so for now, I want to make sure that you also feel that you are welcome for those of you who are watching us live. We have Jessica coming to us from Sydney. It is 7:20 p.m. It seems like every day that we go on, it gets later and later for you. Thank you very much, Jessica, for joining us all the way from Sydney. Even though it's evening time, it's almost time for dinner for you. And speaking of dinner, Carol, probably it is about time for you to start cooking again. Usually that happens whenever we are on live. Thank you very much. Buenos dias to you as well. And then Nicholas is also saying hi to Carol and Jessica. Hope all is going well for the rest of you as well. It's great that you are talking to each other. Everything is going fine. Thanks for asking, and I hope you are fine as well. And Nicholas is responding to Carol as well. Okay, very cool. Yes, thank you for the compliment, especially when we get to check in with Simon. He always has some great advice and uplifting stories. Thank you very much. Today is not so much more uplifting, but more so different ways that we can handle different types of adversities that we might have in our life. Gavin is saying the secrets of the future is hidden in your daily routine. I don't know what the future may hold, but I know what holds the future. Thank you very much for sharing. And thank you very much, Jessica, for saying hi to our fellow friends who are joining us right here today on this live show. Now, continuing on, let's move on a little bit into business. Because for many of us who are watching right now, yes, we are entrepreneurs. We're businessmen. We're business women as well, businessmen and women. But here's the thing. When you are in business, a lot of times you work even harder than when you are an employee. You work even harder because it's your own business. If you don't actually do the work and you don't actually hire people to do it, maybe some of us do, but you actually, especially as small business owners, you got to be a part of that work. You got to be a part of that business because you are responsible for the growth of the company. Nobody's going to be more committed to growing this business than you as the business owner. Let me know if you agree on that. And so as a business owner, you work hard, but maybe you don't get the results. Maybe you're trying to make more sales, but for whatever reason, you're not making those sales. Maybe you have your existing customers, your existing students, but for whatever reason, you can't please them. They as well start to complain, or maybe they're not happy. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much time, effort you put in, you just can't please them. And you're not making the money that you want to. You're not reaching that element of success that you also want. Well, at that point, maybe you want to give up. What do you do? A great example, and let's not talk about any big businesses. You don't have your own products, you don't have your own service. It's okay. Let's talk small, because for many years, I talk about different things. For example, like becoming a YouTuber. That's an example, right? For 2 years, I was actually really active in teaching a live in-person class on how to become a YouTuber. And I also know that becoming a YouTuber, while it is one of the easiest businesses that you can get into if you do want to become an entrepreneur, it doesn't come without its challenges. Because as a YouTuber, you already think that it's easy. You want to depend on Google and YouTube making you money. Maybe you have other business models in mind, and so you put in the work. One thing that many people don't know is that becoming a YouTuber and success with YouTube or video marketing in general is not overnight success. You do need to put in the work. It does take time, and it does take a lot of effort. We give examples like this all the time, but people like PewDiePie, people like Mr. Beast, people who are really ultra successful, who have millions of subscribers, who are making even hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars on their YouTube channels alone. They also struggled, believe it or not, for many, many years. In fact, even for people like Mr. Beast, it took him years to even grow up to 100 or a few hundred subscribers. It's not easy. It's not overnight success. And so when YouTubers these days, they see the potential, they see the success, they see people who are already making a lot of money, and they say, I can do that, I want to do that. But when they don't see the results, they don't get the subscribers right away, they feel like they want to give up. Same thing for live streams. Actually, live streams is a lot harder to capture and maintain the attention of people who watch you as opposed to YouTube videos, right? Because for YouTube videos, it's fast paced. It's got a lot of music. Maybe it's, you can fast forward it, you can do highly edited productions, you can make it and edit it and do jump cuts to the point where, wow, it's just super fast paced, it's super entertaining to watch. And even with that, it could be very hard and difficult and challenging for you to grow. For live streamers, it's even harder. Who else besides all of you who are our loyal watchers and viewers are actually going to come in if you don't know who I am? If you can't separate me from a bar of soap and you have no idea what's going on, maybe you'll be like that gentleman earlier. You'll see this and you'll just be like, question mark, what the heck is happening? Who the heck are you? Why are you in front of my screen on my YouTube, on my Facebook, on my Twitch, on my Twitter, on my LinkedIn, on my Instagram? And what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to sell me? Even, right? We have many people who don't understand what we do. They don't understand me. They don't understand my show. And so I, by no means ever, for these live streams, expect a lot of people. But very luckily, we do get several of you, which is enough for me, who continue to watch and continue to come back time and time again and maybe interact whenever you're live. And so we appreciate that. But I think you know very well, not all people who do live streams even get viewers. They don't even get people who interact. Sometimes if you're watching a live stream, after a while, you realize, hey, maybe you happen to be the only person that's watching this. And to many live streamers, that can also be very demotivating. And as a matter of fact, you need to have very strong will. You need to have very thick skin and be very thick faced in order for you to be a live streamer. Why? Because number one, you're in front of people, right? And you need to not care about what people think. You need to not care about how people act or feel about you. And you just talk just to be talking. And even if nobody watches, you need to be okay with that. Even if you get a hater who says bad things about you, you need to be okay with that. You need to be able to laugh at yourself, and maybe you would even be able to know how to respond to that, not in a shocking way like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person just talked this way to me, about me. You need to know how to laugh at yourself and maybe make fun of that person back if that's how you want to handle it. Or maybe if you're more professional, then you can handle it a little bit more maturely. But At the end of the day, you need to know what you're getting into. You're not going to get the views right away. It's not going to be a basis for you to get a lot of subscribers. In fact, a lot of people are going to jump in, they're going to jump out. You will see that viewers go up and go down, and you need to not let that affect you. These are all tough times for all of us. And becoming a YouTuber, becoming a live streamer, doing anything entrepreneur related, it's all very hard. Nothing is easy. It's not going to be overnight. And so it's very highly likely that you will lose motivation. What do you do when that happens? If, let's say, you want to take a step back and you say, I don't want to show my face. I don't want to have anything to do with cameras. I don't want to have people hear me stutter, or if they see that I don't have a good hair day, or maybe it's not the best lighting, or maybe the technology is lagging and my voice is slow and right, all these things coming up, and the screen is freezing and I am freezing, and I don't want people to have the opportunity to make fun of me and all those things, then this is not for you. Right? If you want, though, still to make money, well, hey, why don't we start with affiliate marketing? It's been said, affiliate marketing is the fastest way, the easiest way, the best way for anybody to make money online, right? And I actually, to a certain degree, do agree with that. It is a very profitable, it's very easy, and it's very fast way, especially if you're starting out to get started. But here's the thing, even if you're already successful, even if you already made millions of dollars, even if you have 10, 20 plus years of experience like myself, you still continue to do affiliate marketing. And that is the truth, because it is a great way, whether you want to focus on it as a full-time income or as something on the side, it is still something that will generate you revenue. But again, just like becoming a YouTuber, just like being a live streamer, and just like everything else, it's not an overnight success. Affiliates aren't going to get results right away. You're not going to make your first dollar right away. It might take a long time for you to make your first commission. That's the reality. That's what happens. Maybe when you see that, you want to quit. Maybe when you see that, you get demotivated and you don't know what to do, and you jump from one opportunity or another. That happens. But if you let all these little small things get in your way and stop you and demotivate you, and you become demotivated and you're just not going to do it anymore, then entrepreneurship is also not for you. But let's talk a little bit beyond business. I will tell you and share with you some experiences that I have as a mentor, as a coach, as a trainer, as somebody who has put myself into the position to want to help as many people as possible. I'm not going to talk about all the righteousness of everything that we're doing this year, all the righteousness of everything that we've been able to do to help people for the past 15 plus years. Let's talk about students who don't take action, students who don't do anything, people who attend your class and they complain that it doesn't work simply because they didn't do anything about it. The same people, mind you, who attend the exact same class as other people, fellow students, who did take action and miraculously got instantaneous results. Because unlike many of the other fake gurus out there, I am confident in what I teach. I know that my strategies work, and I am legitimately wanting to help people to the point where this entire year I've been doing it all for free. But let's not talk about that. Let's get into the people who complain. These are mentees that maybe they don't listen. They don't want to take action, and they don't want anything to do with what you're teaching them. Maybe they want to defy you. Maybe they want to argue with you. Maybe as a mentor, as a coach, you want to share with them, hey, this is what you should be doing. This is my recommendation. This is my advice. You might even hold them by the hand, and you might tell them, actually, this is what I just did. Here is your opportunity, and this is what you should do. And for whatever reason, they don't want to do it. They just simply go in one ear and out the other. Again, they want to defy you. They even argue with you. No, this is not what I should be doing. No, this is not what should be done. And I'm not going to listen to you and all that things. And so that next question is, why are you even wanting to work with me in the first place? Why do you want to call me your mentor? Right? Because if you're not going to listen to me, then I don't have time to actually do that. So as a mentor, do I lose motivation? Do I lose the interest to work with that person? Absolutely. You betcha. Right? Because this is, as I said, we're all human. And it's real human emotions. If I am motivated to work with you, you need to reciprocate with the motivation and show me that you're excited to work with me as well. And so maybe as a mentor, I can lose motivation, but as a mentee, you can also lose motivation as well. And that really goes hand in hand with what your intentions are and what your goals are. You, as a mentor, as a coach, you may also at some point decide that I have identified maybe one or two out of all your students and your mentees, maybe one or two proteges that you want to really work more closer with. Now, do I recommend that you go that route? I don't know. Because there are many times, in fact, that maybe I have done that. And what I've seen is that it doesn't always work out the best. I have had proteges who have betrayed me. I have had proteges who decide not to listen to me. I have had proteges who stab me in the back. I have proteges who walk away from me. I have proteges who don't listen to what I say, right? So for me, I still, after a while, sometimes I think, okay, maybe it's time that I give this opportunity another chance. Just because I've had bad experiences with all these proteges, it doesn't mean that everybody is the same. Maybe it's about time, after several months, after a couple of years, that I give some additional opportunities to additional people who also want that chance to step up, who also want that chance to be a leader. And so I give that chance again and again and again. But when the lies, the cheating, the stealing, they continue to happen and people continue to defy you, continue to argue with you, continue to, in one way or another, disappoint you, then sometimes you need to ask yourself, why do you even want to do it anymore? You're demotivated. Is that a reason, though, for you to quit? Is that a reason, though, for you to say, okay, I am permanently putting a ban on proteges. I am permanently putting a ban on doing classes. I'm permanently doing a ban on becoming a mentor, a coach, or a leader. These are all decisions that you need to make. In the end, what I would probably say is that whether it's in your professional life, in work, in business, or even if it's in your personal life as well. Maybe it's at home. Maybe it's in a personal relationship. Maybe it's in a family relationship. It could be with a spouse. It could be with your parents. It could be your siblings. There will be times that you don't feel all that's appreciated. You might feel like everything that you are putting in, you're not getting reciprocated on. Maybe you feel like nobody cares. You feel like the things that you're doing for the other person, that they don't really care. They don't really appreciate, they don't acknowledge, as we mentioned, right? Maybe you feel like everything that you do is simply not enough. Well, the thing is, in many cases, in most cases, I would say, and I would hope, is probably not true. It's probably that you're a little bit too sensitive. Maybe it happens to be a sensitive situation. And my good friend Asher, he was saying this in his live stream the other day. Whenever you have your own perceptions, whenever you have a debate, whenever you're in a fight, you always think that you are right. And so when you think that you're not being appreciated, and you think that the other person doesn't care about you, and you think that you're not being acknowledged, you think that you're right. As hurtful and negative a thought it is, you still think that you are right, when in reality, it is most likely not true. So what this means and what this teaches us is that in life in general, there are so many ways, so many reasons for us to lose our motivation. The best way that you can do and the best way that you can handle is ask yourself, what got you started there in the first place? Why did I even start to do all these things for other people? Why did I even start to want to help others? Why did I even want to, do all these things for my family members? Ask yourself that question. Is it because you care? Is it because you are that kind of person? Is it because it's your vision, it's your goal, it's what you want to do in life, right? You and only you will know that answer. So ask yourself, why did you get started in the first place? And hopefully that will help you to overcome that demotivation. And before I get into some additional plans and some additional ways that you might be able to pick yourself back up after being demotivated, let's go ahead and start saying hi once again to some of our friends who are continuing to say hi to us. Jessica is saying, are you feeling better today? You didn't feel very well yesterday. Today is a little bit better, but not at 100%. Thank you very much for asking. Carol is saying hi to Jessica. Yes, it's true. As a business owner, you often work longer hours than you did as an employee. I wouldn't say often. I would say, at least in my experience, definitely we do. And you definitely would, as a business owner, work more hours because you are the business owner, right? If you don't do it, we can't depend on others to actually do it for us as well. Jessica is saying there's no overnight success for anything. Never give up. I appreciate you and everyone who's watching live or the replays and interacting. Yes, for sure. Nicholas is saying, that's why we tell everyone we know about you, Simon, and the value that you provide in the live streams. Thank you very much for Nicholas. Although with my type of interaction or with my type of live streams and with my type of content, I understand that it is not for everybody. It's only for a very small group of people that maybe can relate to me. And that would include people like you, people like Jessica, people like Carol, and those who are oftentimes watching these live streams and interacting. It is always great to see you time and time again. And if nothing else, for the remainder of the year or maybe into next year for all of my future live streams, is if my audience is this audience of 3, that's okay as well, because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm just sharing, and with the intention, if you're going to listen, then you're going to listen. If it's not for you, it's okay. I see my streams, the people, I see them drop out all the time. You know, I've become immune to it. I don't even care. If it's not for you, it's okay. But if you're here, I absolutely hope and pray that this is something that could bring value into your life. Jessica is saying, Simon, you're always professional and transparent in how you handle your haters, trolls, and spam. Thank you very much for noticing that. One thing that can be done when things are not going as you would like is thinking at it like a chess game. Which is the next move that I can do to improve my chances to win the game or to improve my chances? Your entire life, Carol, is probably a game of chess, right? Because it's always about not just what is happening and what is going to happen next, but what you are going to do next as well. We're always planning that next move. We're always planning on what we need to do to overcome that next big challenge. And despite all the challenges that you already have, you might get some additional left and rights get swung in your way, right? You might get sick. You might feel under the weather. The different things around you, your surroundings in your personal life, you may receive not so good news, and you might not feel acknowledged or appreciated. People may complain about you or whatever, right? These are all random things that can happen at any time that you cannot control. So talk about, you know, obstacle after obstacle, challenge after challenge. If you think that you have enough challenges, sometimes life will throw you that instant and surprise curveball that you weren't expecting, and suddenly you have to handle all those things first before you can handle anything else. And that's just the way it is. And that's why it is so easy for us to lose motivation, because of all these tests, right, that life throws at us. It's all about how you can handle it. Okay. And then Jessica is saying the complaint department is still closed. Yes, it is, but sometimes people still continue to complain, and those with the open ears still continue to listen, and that's nothing that we can do about that. Jessica is saying motivation is external, but inspiration comes from within. You need to screen, pre-qualify, and do your own due diligence when recruiting your proteges, just like HR and the hiring process. I used to work in the HR industry. We have Danny. Very nice to see you. Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, you're joining us for the very first time. It would be delightful for us to have you show us, around and let us know more about you, and maybe have you join us in the future as well. We always welcome brand new members. Danny is also saying, let me know if you can see my message. I can see your message. I'm featuring you as well. Hope that answers your question. Jessica is saying, remember what your why is and what is your purpose and your true intention. Also, I don't care what you look like. I don't care. I care more about the valuable content and what you are sharing with us. Thank you very much. And that's why I don't really care about how I look either. Okay. All right. Very cool. So yeah, you're going to get people who are interested to talk to you, maybe because, or listen to you, maybe because they're interested in what you're sharing. Then there will be people who will be interested only if, you're interacting back, or maybe if you're answering their questions, or maybe if you can see them, or whatever else. Whatever it is, whatever category that you might be in, it doesn't really matter. But if you're here because you're interested in the content, then we highly recommend that you be a part of it as much as possible. Subscribe, like, follow, turn on those bell notifications so that you can be a part of all these live streams and live shows whenever we are on live. All right. So very cool. Thank you very much for doing that. And so if you are in the position now, we talked about a lot of different examples when you might actually be demotivated. What do you do and how do you plan ahead? Well, it's all a part of life. Even for me, each and every single time that I come on, I try to be that little fireball, right? I try to be that motivation and be that inspiration. And sometimes I share about all the different things that happen in my life that might be happening right now that maybe is not going well at the moment, but at the same time, we still try and spin and make it an inspirational story out of it as well. Not everybody is acceptive or receptive to inspiration or motivation, and that's okay, because not everybody is able to handle different types of situations when life throws them those curveballs. So what do you need to do? Well, for many of us, I believe it's important for us to start planning ahead. I believe it's important for us to have some type of backup. Some people call it a plan B. You might even want to have a plan C and a plan D. Know what your options are. If you are a part of my community and you say, I want to do everything that I can in the next several months to build my business all around your product, your service, your community, and everything that we're doing, just know that at any given time, the community can go away. At any time, the product, the service, the main company can go away. At any time, hardships, challenges might come from out of nowhere, and we're not able to do the exact same thing that we have planned. That happens. And so that, of course, would be trouble to many of us, right? That would mean that we would get demotivated. And that's why you need to have a backup. That's why you need to know your options. That's why you need to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, because you never know when something will stand in your way and you need to do something else. And at the same time, it is also very important that if sometimes you say enough is enough, yes, maybe for me, I don't care what other people think about me. But if for the same people whom I'm trying to help, for the same people that I'm putting in blood, sweat, and tears to assist and make sure that we're able to help them, and those are the same people who not only do not acknowledge, do not recognize you, but they also complain about you. And they say that this is not good, and they want to get you in trouble, and they want to ruin your reputation, and they want to say bad things about you, and just kind of depreciates everything that you've actually put in, to the point where you just feel like, why the heck should I be continuing to do all these things for you? Then you also need to know when you need to walk away. You need to know when is the best opportunity for you to do something else. You need to know what is the right reason for you to shift your focus, and maybe a reason enough for you to go somewhere where you are appreciated. Go somewhere where people will acknowledge you, will like you, trust you, and believe in you for what you are trying to do, and they will be receptive to your help. Okay, so There will be many situations where you will need to consider those, but you need to be very sure. Okay, you need to be very sure that this is what you want to do, because when you leave, a lot of times the opportunities that you have attracted along the way could leave with it. If you are taking action, if you're speaking, if you're acting out of emotions, out of whatever it is that you feel like in that point in time, I have also seen many people in my community make the biggest mistakes of their lives, because for whatever reason, again, it might not be true, they feel like they weren't appreciated, they feel like they weren't being acknowledged, they feel like whatever it was that they were doing at that point in time wasn't really worth it for them. And so because they felt angry, because they felt sad, because they felt demotivated, they turned around and they walked away. I don't feel like I want to do this anymore, I don't want to be a leader, I don't want to be a part of it, I want to do something else, blah blah blah, whatever. Only in the end, and I know, they will actually regret it. They feel bad about it. They see the opportunities that other people are getting from positions that they once had. They see what they lost. They lost out in, what they missed out on. And yes, they start to feel sorry for themselves. They start to regret it. But at that point, it's obviously too late. So you need to understand what it is that is driving you there in the first place. Know what you're missing out. Know what you will be giving up on. Know what you're doing and whether or not it's worth it for you to actually walk the other path. Because again, you need to be very sure in all the different decisions that you need to make. And if ever you feel like, again, that you want to give up, that you don't want to do this anymore, remember why you started in the first place. Remember what got you motivated for the first time. Remember your dream. Remember your vision. Remember what it was that attracted you to the opportunity in the first place. And if that's enough to continue, for you to continue, to drive you, to be that driving force, then this is probably something that might be worth it for you to continue in the long run. And here's the thing, for many, many, many years, I've seen people give up on themselves. I've seen students walk away. Not only do they give up on themselves, they give up on me, they give up on opportunity, they give up on their life, they give up on their freedom, they give up on what is possible. But for me, even though they gave up, unless they completely left my groups, unless they completely left my communities, unless they also unfriended me, I also never gave up on them. I never gave up on them, even though they gave up on me. What do I mean? Well, even if they decide to quietly walk away, if they're still inside of my community, if they're still inside of my private Facebook group or my private masterminds where I trained all of my students, and I have students and groups where there's hundreds, even thousands of people, and many of them are no longer active, I still continue to post. I still continue to give that mastermind, inspiration, the motivation. I still continue to provide that content. Whether or not they watch it, I don't know. That's beyond me, okay? At least I've done my parts. I also never gave up on them because, again, if they're in my masterminds or even if they're not, right? This is public. This show is public. You might be watching me on YouTube. You might be watching me on Twitch. You might be watching me on Twitter. You might be watching me on my Facebook page, on my Facebook profile, or anyone on my Facebook groups. Regardless, right? You don't necessarily have to be a member of those groups. So again, unless you completely unfriended me and banned me, then you're still able to see some of these live shows. And again, whether it's not for you, it's not my place to say. I'm still doing my part. For those who gave up on me, I'm still not giving up on you, unless you simply want to give up on yourself. And that's fine. And for many people, I would even say, even in my very private groups, until the pandemic actually happened, a lot of people were still trying to figure out what it was that they wanted to do, whether or not they wanted to be a part of the community or not. But ever since everything got locked down, they gave up on themselves even more than before. For whatever reason, they think that the only way that they can survive, the only way that they can succeed, the only way that they can be a part of this community is if we continue on with those live events, with those live seminars, if they are able to continue to travel with me around the world to do all these live events around the globe. And once everything is locked down, they feel like there's no opportunity for them anymore. Again, that is a mentality thing. That's a mindset thing. It's an attitude thing. If they feel like they want to give up because life threw them a curveball, then that is their own problem. But I will tell you, because I am a self-motivator, yes, I was discouraged. Yes, I was demotivated. Yes, I was disappointed when all these things happened, when 2020 happened, and I cannot run my seminars anymore. I cannot do live events anymore. I cannot travel the world anymore and do my global events and meet up with my clients and all these things. I had multiple businesses that got shut down. But I self-motivated myself. I self-inspired myself, and I continued and I moved forward and I moved on. In this instance, yes, I did move on, because all those things that previously required the live in-person types of traditional businesses, those are all a thing of a past, at least in the present time. If I want to continue to do things additional, I learned new skills, right? I got onto the live streams. I started doing live streams this year, very recently, just because it was something that I wanted to do. And I wanted to, for a long time, be confident in it so that I can share more value with people who even gave up on me, give up on themselves, and brand new people as well. But at the same time, I know that it is a very important way for me to continue to share. Now, today, in this day and age, there will continue and there will always continue to be people who don't understand you, who will misunderstand you. Some don't even try to understand you. They might even throw insults at you. They might threaten you. They will throw threats at you. I don't want to be a part of your team anymore. I don't want you to work with me anymore. This is something that will get somebody fired, right? Or this is something that will make me want to disconnect with you from the rest of what I want to do in my personal and professional life, whatever, right? There will be people who will always use these not so eloquent words to try and express their anger or disappointment at that point in time. But at the end, you cannot associate yourself with those people. Maybe they can be your friends, sure. Maybe they can be your business associates, sure. But if you, for whatever reason, feel like they are talking to you in a way that you don't deserve to be talked to, then you still need to take a step back and realize that you need to be the logical one. You need to know how to think logically. You need to be an adult. You need to be mature. Do not scoop down back to their level. Always be reasonable. Always be logical. Always be professional. And if in the event you feel like, I don't want to give up, this is not something that I want to walk away from, right? I said that you need to be sure that you want to give up before you do it. And if you decide not to, which I highly recommend that you don't, because the more that you decide to give up, the easier that becomes a part of your everyday solution and decision in your life. So always make it a habit to not give up. Always make it a habit to fight through it. And when that happens, if for whatever reason people say things about you, eat it up. If people hurt your ego, swallow your pride, drown that ego. It's okay. In the long run, none of that matters. It's not about you anymore. It's about what you can bring to the world. It's about what lives you can touch. It's about even your loved ones around you. And if your direct success is going to be a better life for them, then yeah, there is no room for ego. There is no room for pride. There is no room for thinking that I am better than you and you shouldn't talk to me that way and I am so much better than this. I am up here, you're down here. There's no more room for any of that. It's time for all of us to be humble ourselves, know what is best for everything around us, not just you. Regardless, don't limit yourself. Know your options, know your value, know your worth. And if in the end you realize that you need to walk away from this opportunity in pursuit of something even bigger, even better, a much huger opportunity, then always think and plan ahead as we mentioned, have your backup, your plan B, C, D, E, F, G, and plan for success. Even when you are demotivated, you can still be motivated. And you are always recommended and encouraged to be that self-motivator for yourself. All right. So with that, that is all that I have in terms of content. Before I wrap up, let's go ahead and see what some of you are actually saying in some of these comments. We have Jessica saying life will throw us curveballs, is how you respond that matters. And also saying hi to Danny, a huge welcome. Definitely, it's important to plan ahead, have a plan B or a C. Yep, for sure. Expect the unexpected. And we've been talking about this ever since the first 1 or 2 live sessions. And this seems to be a recurring theme, doesn't it, Jessica? Know when to walk away, but also know when not to walk away. You need to be sure, very sure, in fact, that you want to walk away. Never make a major decision based on raw emotion. Know thyself, know yourself. Remember your vision, your dream, and your why. It is not for everyone. There are always opportunities. There are always opportunities, and I just lost my place. There you go. When one door closes, more doors and opportunities will open for you. Yes, that is absolutely correct, but not always without planning. Okay, so that's why it's important for us to take that step back, know why or why not you want to leave a certain opportunity and give something up, because that will determine if you know your worth, know your options, and know your value. And when you do, that is the type of opportunity that you want to open the door to. Nicholas is saying, when life throws you a curveball, ask a baseballer how to deal with it. It's a pun, but basically ask for help from someone else in groups, on pages, on sites, etc. Just don't give up. Very inspirational words from Mr. Nicholas. It's okay to put something on temporary pause to evaluate, assess, and regroup, better than acting in haste. Yes, absolutely. And this is actually what I also want to talk about in our wrap up, in our conclusion, because we talked about motivation. We talked about, being a self-motivator. What do you do when you are demotivated? You need to be that self-motivator to motivate yourself. That was the last thing that we said, right? However, it is a known and true fact. Motivation is hard. It's just hard, man, right? Because when you have all these things being thrown at you, it is just the hardest thing in the world to even keep your head out of the water, to be able to breathe. Some days you don't even want to get out of bed. I was in bed until 3+ today, even though I was already awake, and that's why I wasn't on until 4+, because I just wasn't really motivated. I wasn't feeling it today, right? But at the same time, you still need to push yourself up, and you still need to provide the value to those who want to hear from you, especially when you've been, or you feel like that you've been motivated by yourself, alone for too long. And it's especially hard in those situations. You feel like you have been the person that is bringing up the team. You feel like you are the one who is holding the fort together. You feel like without you, the entire thing would fall apart, and nobody else is helping, nobody else is contributing, and all everybody has is a negative connotation in the hard efforts that you've been putting in. I know. I've been there. I've done that. I know exactly how that feels. But again, you cannot lose track of your goals. You need to pull through, even if others don't pull through. You need to do your parts, even if others don't do their parts. You need to do the right thing, even if nobody sees it. Even if nobody knows that you're doing the right thing except for yourself, you still need to continue to do that, because the universe sees it, and you will be rewarded 1,000 times back in return or more, as long as you continue to do the right thing. And no, even if something doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean that you should give up. It doesn't mean that you need to throw in the towel. Take a break if you need to. Walk away temporarily. Refresh your mind. Know what it is that you need to do. You need to motivate yourself, even if no one will do it for you. And in most cases, they're not going to motivate you for you. So if you're just going to quit on everything that doesn't motivate you, you are never going to stick with everything or anything that you have in your life. But at the same time, every single project, every single community, every single business or company that you're working with or for, you will have hardships. You will have challenges. You will have little forks in the road where you don't know what you can do or what you need to do or what you should do next. And when you feel like you've hit that fork in the road or that wall, even, instead of walking the other way, just take a break. Take some temporary time off. Feel it out on your own. Think about it and know what it is. Clear your mind and know what you need to do next. And usually, after you take your break, that's when you come back stronger and more motivated than ever before. So that's your goal, to always come back and fight through all the challenges. That's what they say about, different types of flus and different types of illnesses and sicknesses. You get it. You feel down and it boggles you, right? It pushes you down and you feel like crap, but afterwards you come back stronger. In many cases, you get immune to it and now you don't even see it as a problem anymore. So for all of us, we've all been there. Some of us and many of us were there right now. If you find yourself to be demotivated, make sure you know what you need to do in order for you to motivate yourself again and come back stronger than before. You can do it. You got this. Take that motivation or that demotivation as your motivation to move forward. All right. So with that, that is the conclusion of what we have for you today. I do plan to go out, even though, yes, we are still on a semi-lockdown, probably a contribution of everything along those lines that's just and plus physical and mental illnesses and things like that, that sometimes you just don't feel like you're at 100%. But in the end, nobody can be that motivation except for you. It is your responsibility to dig yourself back up and put yourself back together, man, right? And go ahead and change more lives, impact your own, and become better than ever. All right. So with all of that, I am looking forward to going out right after this is over. In the meantime, we will go ahead and say goodbye to all of you who are sharing your comments with us. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because right after this, we're going to call it a day. And in Jessica's example, she's going to call it a night. She's saying, stay inspired and on purpose. Never lose track of your goals. Continue to do the right thing, even if others are not. Jessica also says, take a break when you hit those brick walls. Steven, watching us from YouTube, is saying, thanks. Thank you as well. And Jessica is saying you will build up immunity, resilience, and perseverance. And in life, that's what we all need. Just don't give up, continue on. And this is how you will win in life. Commitment is doing the thing you said you would do long after the mood leaves you. Yep, we cannot act hastily and in just emotional states. You need to know what is the right thing. Fight for it with every reasonable and logical fiber in your being, and you will always come out on top. So with that, we want to thank you for all of you who have been watching us. Tom Bell, good to see you, sir. It has been a long time. Thank you for joining us right when we are saying goodbye. Maybe next time you can join us when we are on live. Let me know if you're in the Philippines right now or if you happen to be in the States, because that will also determine the best time that we should hang out and catch up online, or maybe do these shows so that we can get you on as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. For the rest of you, thank you for joining us today. If you're here around Asia or in Australia time zone, have a great evening, have a good night. If you're like Carol, who is in the afternoon, have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your day as well. In the middle of the night, as many of our friends are in the US, have a great middle of the night, have a great the rest of your day, have a good rest, have a good sleep. Whatever the case, have a nice whatever it is that you are doing, and hopefully we will always continue with the motivation to come back again more energetic and more motivated than before on our next show. And I will catch you then. I will see you on the next one. Adios, amigos. Bye.